Emojis. Idaho. This is a jamming song to get going, man. To the show. Oh no. You know what I loved about Leonard Skinner was the piano.
Classic band.
What's your name, little girl? Honey, what's your name? Love it. Love it, love it, love it, man. Here we go, baby. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Happy Friday.
So hard to believe it's been a week since you were away.
Correct. Yeah, it's been a long week.
Drink a champagne. What's your name? Honey, what's your name? This is one of those songs that just stays with you all day long. Mixing it up with a little Southern rock.
Billy is in the house. Billy Herman in the house. Good to see you this morning on the LinkedIn.
Hey. If you can't play our good guitar to this, man. Oh, love it, love it, love it. That's a cool way to start the day. Good morning to everybody in the huddle. Thank you for your support as always. I want to start today with some super good congratulatory news. Scotty Garber, my nephew, is actually getting married tomorrow. And in true whatever it takes fashion, he's having a virtual wedding. We're invited, and he has invited everybody in the huddle. If you want to join, it's 1 o'clock tomorrow. It's music, it's booze, and it's anything you want it to be. So I will post the link for the Zoom wedding. Scotty, congratulations. Love you, kid. You got a great lady and a great life ahead of you. So really, really good news.
Congrats, sir. And looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Sir, it is National Something Day.
It is National Tattoo Day, and I've already thrown out the first post of the morning. But for those of you who know us, we represent. And I said, we're bound by blood, but we're linked by ink. And the bond between Jake, my dad, and myself has been very strong from the time that we were born. But we've gone through a lot of things together. And so on National Tattoo Day, the fact that we share the same tattoo, and that is a great reminder for us on a daily basis about our bond. Happy to share that with everyone.
That's exactly what it is, Mark. It is a daily reminder. When we wake up, we are bonded together, and I love that. On a lighter note, because I get a little choked up when I talk about it. World Emoji Day. So share with people what your favorite emoji is. When we teach people, today we're doing Learn LinkedIn Like a Pro for the last time, and people were all over us like, is it really the last time? No bullshit. It's the last time. We are moving on. We have other content that's going to be coming out. It's not really part of our sales model, but we teach people how to use emojis to communicate, enforce emotion, emoticons. That's where it came from. So feel free to use any emoji, including that one.
And thank you to Emoji for creating, for moving us back to almost a hieroglyphic stage to where you don't have to use words to communicate anymore. You can just send a reaction and people know exactly what you're talking about.
On that note, I use tons of GIFs. I use tons of emojis because in the world we're living in, with so many different ways to communicate, I want something that breaks the clutter, that allows people to have a laugh, make it a little lighter, break up the momentum. It's not the constant same bullshit over and over. So
we say it all the time, words matter, right? But not only do words matter, your pictures matter. How you communicate is more important than what you communicate. If people can't understand and receive what's coming to them, then it falls on deaf ears, and what you're trying to accomplish cannot be done. So the way you communicate is the most important part of it. So add some emojis in, lighten it up, and have some fun.
So leave it to Jim Barrett to be the first one to put that emoji in the stream. Way to go, brother! Man. Way to communicate, man. We got you, man. Very cool.
Shout out to Christopher Schoenfield in the house this morning. City Furniture, Boca. Appreciate you joining us early, and he loved the link by Ink. So I love that.
And then Kim Swears, boat boss, is in the house. She's checking in. New stuff happening with that. It's really, really, really cool. So I'm really, really excited. So I'll move through, a finisher Friday. I have very good content. I want to keep the momentum going from what, Mark, you did yesterday with routines and habits and all that kind of stuff. But before we get to that, I want to let everybody know that it's not all doom and gloom. And I am subscribed to many different inputs that help me sort of make up my own decision. I don't just listen to the news when they're telling me how scary it is and all the numbers. And listen, I'm sure it's bad, and I'm not downplaying that. I'm just looking and understanding that there is good news. So I get something called the CEO briefing, and it's something that I have subscribed to for years. And it just gives me insight into what other CEOs are thinking, and they do these surveys. So let's knock this week out with some optimism. And they just ran a monthly survey of CEO confidence in the economy, and it finds that most CEOs believe a year from now we will be in tremendous shape. So here's exactly what it says. Finds the outlook for business conditions a year from now has returned to near January levels. So when we were in January, people were thinking, oh, there's no end in sight. Well, people got to go to reality, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Number one. Number two is there's a surprising fact, and you wouldn't believe this if you listen to the news. U.S. bankruptcy filings have not risen. How about that noise? So I don't know if you have a comment there.
Yeah, I just think it's fantastic. And I think it, again, inputs. It's all about inputs. So while you're watching the news, and while there is a lot of hardship, there's a lot of unemployment, all that kind of stuff, the amount of where you're getting your information from and what you're putting in is critical for your internal dialogue, and then what happens with your own outputs. So go research and find it. The information is out there. It might not be right in front of your face, but you subscribe to this, this content, and it gets sent to you. Go find it, go look it out, use the Google search, and go find yourself some good news to share with people.
And if you want, I'm happy to share that stuff. I have a group of CEOs who have asked me to keep sharing this stuff, McKinsey reports, all the things that I've basically digested, and then makes me feel better, inputs. Football players put on a uniform before they go out on the field, relevant to what Mark used to do. I think you need to arm yourself with the right information and the right inputs to make you a positive person, a positive influence. And certainly I'm proud of that. More on the good news track. So we've seen an uptick in people looking to get better. Personal coaching, personal development, all of the things that I think this pandemic has done. One of the cool things is it's made people introspective and understand that they may not have the skills to get better. And I'm thrilled with the client base that we have now. It's so exciting to work with them, the appetite to get better. And then a report comes out from Microsoft, which validates what's happening to us. Microsoft announces a program that could potentially train 25 million workers in the digital space. Comment, sir.
There's a lot of things that I want to talk about here, because number one, most companies train people when they get hired and then never train them again on anything. It becomes everybody's individual responsibility to go out and continue to sharpen their skills and gain new tools as the world evolves and changes. So kudos to Microsoft for putting it out there for people to allow themselves to develop. The other thing is we're working with an unbelievable training company right now in Huddle. And with the way training has evolved and the way it can be gamified and the information that's out there on how people retain information and ways to get them to develop and operate at a higher level is unbelievable. So this is all part of the track that we're on, the conversations we're having with people that we're working with about developing culture and training people on new tools and getting them going. And even today, right, with the final LinkedIn Like a Pro, these are people that are not only taking it for the first time, but taking it again because you have
and again and again. The Empower Group is third time.
There you go. So I think the note there about just training and what they're doing to equip people in the digital era is unbelievable.
A couple of to close out the story. The backstory on this whole thing is that Microsoft says that there's been a decline in corporate training, which is why it's launching this new app to upskill workers. So people are paying attention. It makes me feel better. One of my, points or value propositions is I'm going to get better every day. We've talked about this in previous huddles. If you get 1% better every day, what happens, sir?
You increase yourself by 36.5% or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you don't, there is a decline. So very much so, you can't just plant the flag and say, okay, I'm good here. And everybody has something to learn. Even myself, Adam Case, who joins this often, he posted in LinkedIn that he was so excited to have a conversation and, he was learning so much from me. I told him the street runs both ways. I learn from every single dialogue I have. So, Jim, you're right. It's sharpen the sword all the time. Carrie Shiffries, yeah, it is Happy Thursday, but maybe you're either too late or too early. Yeah. It's all good, man. Gotta love that, Liza Casco, my favorite boat person besides the boat boss. Way to go. So here's a fun fact, a fun story that I want to get into before I talk about, close out the conversation on habits and routines. So I've noticed this happening with everybody. The new mantra is, and somebody's coaching this, is just reach out and ask, how can I help you? Well, when you ask somebody that, you basically put an emotional burden on them to come up with, how can I help you? I don't know. It's like, so round and round, you've added another task to me. How can I help you? I got no idea, So when you position that question, you are actually giving a task to somebody that is already overwhelmed. So I have an answer to that. And interestingly enough, I gave it to two of my coaching clients a week ago. And then yesterday, an article pops up, a better question than how can I help you? I couldn't believe it. And as I'm reading it, I'm going, is he going to say what I'm going to say, what I already said? So why don't you do this? And you can do this with your friends. You can do this with your family, and you can do this with your clients. Why don't you reposition that question and say, what can I take off your plate? It's really simple. Boom. What are you doing? Whatever you're a specialist at, or whatever you're not. If you're just a pair of hands, it becomes very easy, for someone to go, you know what? You can do this task, or you can do that. So by offering a specific way to help somebody, I think you will be much more genuine. Carrie, good comeback. Still have yesterday on the mind. I hope it was a good day. So just a better way to approach people. Say, hey, I'm just reaching out. What can I take off your plate? And you'll be surprised people will do that. Any comment there, my friend?
Well, it becomes intentional. You're reaching out to say, I can do a specific thing for you. It's not this broad generalization, which the same way as everybody's saying, I hope you're safe and healthy during these trying times. I'm tired of hearing that in an email. It's not even genuine anymore. You know what? Skip past the bull crap and give me something. Hey, you know what? I know there's a lot going on right now. What specific thing can I take away from you right now to help you? That's actionable, and that empowers somebody, and it's very intentional. And we've talked about that in the past. The power of being intentional changes the game.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that I see that comes through in email / LinkedIn is embarrassing. I mean, there sometimes I just really want to just blast it everywhere, and I go, "Are you kidding me? Seriously, this is what you think is an approach that would get my attention or want me to, get involved with you?" I think it's crazy. So good stuff there. We'll switch gears. We got 5 or 4.5 minutes left. So habits, routines, goals. Everybody is on mental overload. What am I doing? There is stress. I would say just about every single conversation I have with my clients has some time management. What am I doing? When am I doing it? How am I doing it? Because life is real. Life gets in the way. Shit happens. You got to be able to sort of, manage through it. And I think most people are stuck in the mindset that you just need to do more. And to a certain degree, I've always been a fan of massive action equals massive results. But, in the more I'm involved in helping other people, it's not only massive action. Sometimes it's less. Less is more. People are trying to do too much. There is fatigue, real fatigue. And so managing output is significant.
But I think so that we're not talking out of both sides of our mouth. We're not saying that massive action isn't great and that the answer is to do less. The answer is to say no to the things that aren't efficient, to allow yourself to be better and more focused in the things that matter. And that is definitely something that we are working on with a lot of people, because especially now that there's no boundaries of being in the office or being at home, everything has blurred into this one melting pot of all your time is in one place. You have to define for people what the expectations are prior of and prioritize for yourself. What are the things that I must accomplish, and focus on those things to allow yourself to really be actionable in those times.
So you hit it right on the head. The word prioritization is so significant. People are not, valuing the activities. They're just doing. Say that they're, look at me, I'm busy. I got to hope, So, you say power elimination, great. We've talked about power of hard stop, but these are all bound in one subject, which clearly is the D word, and the D word is decisions. We make bad decisions. Bad decisions lead to bad outcomes, period, always. So conversely, good decisions, right, that are focused and not multitask. There's people that love to multitask, and that's great. I think that's a fallacy. I think you need to invest your time, not listen to outside pressures, and know exactly what you're doing, for how long you're doing it, and why you're doing it.
I think there's a critical component to being able to do that. And I had this conversation with Gabby yesterday because she had said something to me about how great it was to work with one of her people in the marketing department because of the way they communicate, and she just gets it and she's really smart. And I said, well, is it just that she's really smart, or she's also really self-aware and knows what she doesn't know and is willing to take coaching in areas that it doesn't? So the self-awareness piece of knowing, what am I not good at that I should either delegate to somebody else or take off my plate because it doesn't belong with me. It shouldn't really be my responsibility, so that I can really focus on the things that I know are going to help me be successful, which in turn will help the organization be successful.
I think, it's dead on. So the takeaway that I want people to get, and you have Saturday and Sunday to think through it, is habits, routines, and goals all hinge on your ability to make decisions. That decisions are nebulous. They are either going to be good or bad, but you learn from either one. If it's a good decision and it works, you keep doing it. If it's a bad decision, you stop doing it. And this is where people go wrong, is that they are doing behaviors that don't work.
The other thing to that is that indecision is a decision. You have to say yes or no to it to figure out whether or not you should or shouldn't have done it. If you don't decide to do it, indecision is making a decision. And that is the worst thing that you can possibly do, because then it constantly sits in the back of your mind. It constantly sits on your calendar or a to-do list as something that you say you're going to get to, but you're never actually going to get to doing it. So it's just this thing that eats up energy that absolutely has no use for you.
Perfect. That indecision lives inside of your brain and takes up a piece of real estate where you can't be forward thinking. You're still thinking about something you know that needs to get done, that you've already put some kind of value on it. So, I love where this was. This is the culmination of a lot of the dialogues we're having. Some of you who are in the huddle that we're coaching privately, these are the conversations we're having. So if anybody has a comment, anybody wants to reach out just to dialogue about this stuff, get on my calendar, get on Mark's calendar. We have 15-minute virtual coffees for us to share, learn, do whatever it takes to move life forward. So I love this group. I love that, you guys keep tuning in. Tell your friends. Today, as you know, in the next 2 hours, we'll be doing our final Learn LinkedIn Like a Pro. We're excited to get through it today. So for those that are in the group that are coming, can't wait to see you. We're giving it everything we got today. And one final big shout out, mazel tov to Scotty Garber, because your life about to change, brother.
Have a great Friday. Finish it strong and have a great weekend.
See you soon, dude.